morning. Welcome to this week's Table Talk. I'm Sandy.
Shannon.
Kathy.
Shelley.
And we are happy to have you with us today. We'll start out talking about some of the things we've got finished or almost finished
Working
or
on,
in the
yeah.
progress. Okay, let's start with you, Shannon.
Oh, okay. I wasn't ready for that.
I know.
You like to throw me off. Okay, so those of you, those faithful viewers out there, know that...
Your mom and dad?
Yes. And Pat. My mom and dad and Pat.
Okay.
They will know that I did that quilt with Little Briar Rose.
Yes.
And I am notorious for buying fabric and then going, don't like it, and starting over. So I had all those pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been working on a quilt for the store, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I needed a break. I needed to just go into my sewing room. I needed to stop stitching for a minute, and I just needed to sew. So I just gathered all those pieces, and this is what I came up with.
Awesome.
I have a neighbor that's going to have, she's having twins.
Oh, how fun.
So I thought, oh, I'm just going to throw something together and see, thanks Kathy, see what happens. So,
Oh, it's cute.
so yeah, it's just kind of a
Cute.
little basic, and I can't decide. This one I might not put the borders around it. I don't know.
It's cute.
Yeah, so,
Just like it is.
so what happened was, is I used this pattern, and we actually have the pattern in the store. Mine is old. It's called 5 and Dime. And so what they had you do is they just had you take your fat quarters and stack them up and cut them. And I put in a brand new rotary blade so I could stack all of them up and cut them all together. And then they had you put these big kind of sashing, I guess, or borders or whatever,
Oh, yeah,
two strips down the middle. And it just, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks like they've changed from this. So the pattern's probably going to be a little different than what mine is. But so I didn't like it. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to make some baby quilts. And I need to probably just buy bolts of cloud and keep it at my house. Don't you guys feel like you use that like
I do.
all the time?
I have some white and cloud
I
at
have a
home.
bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you? See, I
Yep.
keep thinking I need to just order a bolt in and just have it. But I had a yard of this, and so I cut it up, and I brought my handy dandy ruler. Okay, funny story about this ruler. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Brought my ruler. Let me tell you a little story about this ruler.
Okay.
I had a friend that posted on Facebook, and it was in December. It was a Saturday Night Live skit. And it was kind of a rappy thing. And the kids were like, you know, I got a laptop.
Oh,
I
yes.
got skates. I got, you know,
And
they
mom,
got all this expensive
And I got a
stuff.
robe.
And yeah, the mom,
Yeah.
I got a robe.
saw
Okay.
that.
So my husband, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny. I showed it to my family. I was laughing so hard. Dead silence with my family, like complete silence. And I said, when it ended, I was like,
hurts.
I was like, did you guys not think that was funny? And they all went, no, that's horrible. That was really sad. They felt horrible. And so I actually needed a new robe for Christmas. Jason would not buy me a robe. He refused to buy me a robe because of that skit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but I really need, anyway, I bought the robe myself after Christmas, but he was panicked after he saw that. He's like, I think I need another gift for you. And I said, no, you don't. It's fine. And my husband is very thoughtful. He will, he's given me some gifts that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you would think of that, and brought tears to my eyes. But he was worried. So I was at the store one day, and I was here with Anna and Michelle, and I was looking at rulers, and Anna's like, you really need this ruler.
Stripology.
It is fantastic. Okay, but Michelle said to me, she's like, if you get one of these rulers, she says, just don't put a new blade in when you very first use it, because she says it takes a minute to get the hang of cutting. So I didn't. And so the first time I used it, I was a little bit hesitant, but then I used it for this quilt because I cut all these white strips 2.5 inches, and it was just so slick. It was so quick. So I love this ruler. So thank you, Jason, for my extra Christmas present.
There you go.
So if anybody next Christmas, pull up that little,
That's a good
yeah,
Christmas item.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
we have these.
We have
these in the store.
this extra large, and then we have a Stripology mini, which still is pretty big, but it,
Oh, yeah.
or no, is that that's just the regular Stripology. And then there's the extra large, which is the one you have, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's a mini as well.
It's just
Yeah, just
left
behind the left.
behind that hexy one.
Oh, no, that's the round.
Just keep going to your
your
left.
To your left.
Left. Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they came
So
in
this
different
is-
sizes.
this is-
A smaller one than what Shannon showed, and then this is the Stripology Mini. And they have this groove here that your blade goes into. And
Right. And so you can do, you know, you can do 2 inches, you can do 3 inches, you can do the halves. So it's really, really
And then
handy.
you can rotate it and cut them into squares
Yeah.
from your, you know.
Yeah. So it really was it was a huge time saver. So anyway, so I used that when I did this, and so I had enough fabric, I made it another one.
And that's cute because they're going to be twins.
Well, it's a girl and a boy.
Oh.
So this will be prepared for
Yes,
when
for
somebody
another
else,
girl.
gets
Yeah.
pregnant and you know has a baby.
That's
then.
sweet.
So this one
Really sweet.
I did do all of the borders all the way around. So I know. So yeah, Emerald pulled everything out of my bag for me. So I wasn't necessarily going to show this, but so for the little boy, I had all this fabric you had put on sale years ago. And I'd never done anything with it. I thought, oh, I'm going to find a couple extra pieces, and I'm going to do the same thing with this quilt, but I'm kind of maybe thinking navy sashing or something.
Yeah, navy or, yeah.
Yeah,
something
something that'll make it pop a little,
that'd be
because
good.
this is a little bit, you know,
Yeah,
lighter.
I
So
think the navy would be good.
anyway, so if this, and this is a great beginner quilt because there's nothing to match. You know, all the blocks are different sizes, so you don't have to try to match anything. So, and it took me 2.5 Hallmark movies to lay it out and sew it. So that kind of gives you an indication of how, you know, how long that's going to take you. So
One day you might be watching a Hallmark movie and see The Village.
yes, we were so excited.
know.
We were so excited because
We
somebody,
had Christmas in January.
yes, somebody stopped by last month and wanted to talk to Sandy about using part of her store.
Cool.
Yeah,
the show.
and they were out throughout the village filming. It was
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be called Country Christmas.
Country Christmas.
So, well, yeah, watch for that probably in December.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyway. Okay, so that's that. And then the quilt I've been working on for the store is this Goodbye Mini, which is super, super cute. And I know we've got the kits all put together. The only thing that I forgot that I haven't put in there is the extra notes that I have. So I need to type that out and put it in there. But I do have some of the blocks together.
And we'll have the thread packs as well.
Oh, good.
Because it uses that silky.
So I have the alligator one all done.
So cute. See you later, alligator.
I have the crocodile one all done. They're super, super cute. There's the crocodile. I finished this cactus one. This one's all done. Okay, and I brought this because I want everybody to know that, you know, I'm really good at screwing up. Of course, we talk about that every week, every time I'm on here. But so this one has to be redone.
Why?
Because if you viewed the last time I was on, I showed my cute little pants that I love to keep in my little,
Yeah.
what are those called? Stash in
Stash in
store.
store.
And I just grabbed a pen out, and it was like a regular pen and not my fusion pen.
Oh, so the color
So can you see, you can see like right through it
darn
because
it.
it's white. And I kind of went down here, so the lines did not disappear. So this is going to be a take 2. So I'm going to have to redo that one. But, and so I'm right in the middle of stitching the lion. And this one kind of looks funny. We had cousins lunch yesterday. My cousins came over and they were like, "Is that a snake?" But it's a baboon. I just haven't done the stitching on it yet.
Well, and you don't,
So this one's
the
ready to
eyes
go.
aren't, so it,
Yeah, the
until you
eyes
get
are
the
kind of
eye-
funny.
The eye ball.
So yeah, I haven't done that. And then the iguana, I'm gonna do that one last because I had to kind of practice. I don't use my little button stitch on my sewing machine very often. So that one has little tiny pieces. I wanted to feel a little more comfortable before I attempted that one. So I'm getting close. I'm getting there.
So cute.
But yeah, it's
It's
super,
gonna be
super
so
cute.
cute.
Yeah, it's a really cute quilt and yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
You've been busy.
I've been busy.
Busy girl.
And this has taken me a lot more Hallmark movies to do all the stitches.
Yeah.
This is not 2.5 Hallmark movies. This is a couple of days worth.
This is some kind of a mini series. type.
Yeah. I have been watching All Creatures Great and Small, the PBS.
I love All Creatures
love
Great
that.
and
Yes. So
Yep.
that's, I kind of watched that.
I'm caught up on that. So yeah, that always bums me out when I
I
get
know.
to the end and I'm like, oh.
And don't you feel like, I feel like in England, they need to make longer series. It's
Yes.
like, what's the deal with 7 and then you're done?
I know.
I want
Really?
like 20.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway.
Shelley,
that's it for me.
what you've been working on?
So
I'm
I'm
Kathy,
just finishing.
I'm making Kathy suffer through and sit here with us as long as possible. So I'm leaving Kathy to her next.
She's the last.
Last the best
So
of all the
I
day.
showed this fabric a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't get the book. Dang it. So the black and whites. This is in a book called
Fast and Fun Quilt.
Fast and Fun Quilts for Kids or something like
Yeah.
that. I showed it last time, but these are the blocks that I had made. And so I'll be laying this out probably, well, I don't know if this weekend, but you just kind of turn them
Rotate
different
them.
directions so that they lay out. But so
Cute.
some of my blocks. And so basically
Love a
that's
good
kind
black
of
and white.
all that I've really done. I haven't done too much more. I have a child that's getting married, and so that's kind of taken over a little bit of my time for my
your life.
quilting. I'm like,
That's your
dang,
quilting time.
I know.
Do you like how like all your black projects are coming? Because the
Oh yeah,
because
because the nocturnal. Yeah, I have branched out. I'm doing blue and yellow right now.
Okay.
So that's okay.
And these
Black and
don't.
gray and white's best.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say
they
Kathy
are.
would be all over that.
Yeah, she would.
I like it.
These don't look super hard to do either.
No,
Skill level,
really
fairly easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cute. I love
Yeah.
the black and white.
Yep.
All right, Kathy has a finish
Mine's
right back here, and it is called Spin and Twirl.
So cute.
Spin and Twirl and the panel from Riley Blake Designs.
And then we have some bowls.
Yeah, and then
Sure,
show the
this
other.
comes in different
feathers.
colors.
Yeah, I made that for my granddaughter.
Oh.
And she does spin and twirl.
She spins and twirls all the time. So we have
So
a
cute.
mint color and a navy.
And then that pretty
And then
blush
the blush.
pink.
It's really cute.
It's so sweet. And I
love
do
that.
have a pattern. We're gonna do we're gonna do a little dance bag
Yeah.
to
Oh,
go
make a
with a
little-
little drawstring bag.
Yeah.
type
Oh,
thing.
cute.
Where
Really
you
cute.
Put your toe
Put your
shoes
toe
in.
shoes
Yeah.
or whatever.
So
Yeah.
So
cute.
that's what I did yesterday at work.
Is that? Oh, you
She was up there going at it,
Zipping
man.
away. Did you bring your
job.
machine in? And
I did.
Oh,
I brought it in because I thought, well,
I wish I would have known it was an employee so day.
well,
Yeah,
there was
really.
one employee.
There was one employee.
She was the only one up
Everybody
there.
else was down in the store working.
And I had a really fun day yesterday. I got to tend the grandbabies all day.
Oh,
So I was with the grandbabies all day, and then I went home and got to sew. Sat down and sewed the rest of the evening. So I hadn't done anything with our stash buster yet.
oh yeah.
I picked out fabrics and everything, but so I
Cute.
finished last night.
How fun.
That's a nice size.
Yeah, it was bigger than I was thinking it was.
Yeah,
gonna
it
be.
is bigger. It's
Yeah,
bigger
it's
than
30.
the last
It's
one.
39-inch square. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There'll be all different sizes that we'll be doing.
This is the Misty Morning as well.
This is
right?
Misty Morning by Minky Kim.
Okay.
And I like her collections because they're kind of eclectic looking.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't like all look like they're so matchy. And I just really like that in
Yeah.
her. in
They're a
her
little
collections. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you can't beat, strawberries. I love the
Very
strawberry
cute.
print so much. So this is the February Stash Buster. And so this, if you have not downloaded your pattern, you can go to our website and download the pattern. You have until March 15th to submit your photo of your finished Stash Buster quilt and to be entered for the $50 gift card.
So do you have kits? Can
We
you
will have kits for this. Yes.
So you can download the free pattern, use your own Stash Buster fabric, or if you like
we
this.
do have kits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and we had a lot of people submit for the January Stash Buster.
Yes.
Like almost 20.
I got a few emails on
Yeah.
that.
Have you picked a winner?
We haven't picked the winner yet, right? We're
It's gonna
at the end of the February one. We're going till the end of the month.
because we give the pattern a little bit
'Cause-
later
Yeah,
to start.
we released it a little bit later. So they have until the end of February on that one. But then February's we'll do March 15th is when we'll draw. So we will post the winner of that. But it's been fun to see what kits, you know, people have been doing. This one, I swear it was like second day it was out or something. My two sisters messaged us both. Stash Buster's done, and they'd already done theirs.
You hadn't even done yours yet.
I haven't even done mine yet. But, okay, and so this project, guess how long this took me?
How long?
Cut, from starting to cut to finish was 2.5 hours.
Huh.
1.5 Hallmark movies.
So I did this last night, and then
Watch.
watch the Jazz game.
Oh,
Oh, don't wait. No, we don't. Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Yeah.
That was sad.
But yeah, LeBron. Anyway, so that was. But you know, I was like surprised how fast this went together. But log cabin.
Yeah.
You know, just big strips.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So that was my finish. And then also while I was babysitting babies yesterday, I designed the April
oh, yay.
Hilltop.
By the time this airs, we probably will be about doing kits.
Yep.
Sending kits for it.
So yeah, the babies were napping, and so I grabbed my computer while they were both napping and designed.
So before you move on from this,
Yes, ma'am.
I went and had a pedicure earlier this week, and I've run into this same lady a couple times. She's there before me, and she's like a beginning quilter, like a very beginning quilter. And she was telling me that as she's done her piece quilting, she'll like chain piece, and then she's like, I don't feel like, since you don't back up, she says, I feel like I have to re-sew everything. That doesn't, the ends don't sew. And I was like, I don't really have that problem.
I don't either.
And she was asking me, you know, what can I do to fix that? And I was like, I don't know. So like, I know when I chain piece, you know, I start and then I go all the way off the edge, because then you go to the next one.
Right.
And so it's just
So I have
So
a little bit.
of thread, yeah.
right in
Leave you
between.
some thread, yeah.
But I
But
didn't
if she's
know.
snipping it, maybe she's chaining them too close. together.
close.
I would think maybe
Yeah.
that's it.
And what about if you're not chaining? Do you? I still sew right off the edge.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
guys
I
still
do
sew
too,
right off
yeah.
the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And the only time I back stitch is when I'm putting my borders.
Yeah.
So, and when I add my borders on,
Yeah,
I
so
back
that
stitch
that
because
doesn't get stretched
because
out
it's
when
not
that's-
going to be crossing another seam. So,
Right.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, so
Because I don't usually back. Do you guys ever
No.
back stitch?
mm-mm.
I
So
don't
the
ever,
reason
ever.
we don't do backing is because you don't want that little.
You don't want that extra thread. Plus, it's going to be crossed by another seam.
Right, when you're piecing stuff together, you know, it gets sewn over so
Yeah.
much that
Yeah.
it holds well. Once in a while I might have something that kind of comes undone, but I don't really have that problem. So I was just curious if you guys have that problem. The other thing, can we talk about for a second? Sorry.
Okay.
Go for it. We had somebody, because I go in and read all the comments.
Is that
I love
like
it when you
your
guys
husband
comment.
says we need to talk?
Yeah, no, my husband never says that. If I say to my husband, we need to talk, he always says, oh, what did I do wrong this time?
I
I'm
hate
like,
that. We need to talk.
I never, yeah. Well, you and I talked about that last week when I was here. We talked about that for a while. Because I go through and read everybody's comments. I love it when you guys comment. I really do, because I love to see what you have to say, and you know, I really like that. But somebody commented about the solids when I said that I like to make sure I put my little sticker on, and they said, how do you know the front from the back of a solid? So I said to Sandy's like, I don't really care. And I said, okay. So, you know, so maybe you don't care.
Is that one just?
I don't know that there's
the other one.
Well, I mean, they do.
Riley Blake has a little bit different.
They do have a, so I did pull a solid.
a little different sheen.
Mm-hmm.
So
This
this,
one is kind of obvious though.
I can usually feel the difference.
Oh, you can feel it?
I usually can. Okay, and so I have to say though, it made me feel better when you said, I don't really care, because when I sew a quilt for the store, I am like paranoid that I have gotten one of my solids the wrong
Well, because
way.
a lot of people say there isn't a difference, so.
I've never.
But maybe it
Paid
just depends
attention.
on.
You've never paid attention. Okay, so Robin that works here at the store, that
Robin.
Robin is like fanatical about the
Is she?
front and the back.
Yes, yeah, yes.
So when she
Yes,
did
yes.
that, is it called Lovey Dovey?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Lovey Dovey. She did it on Employee Sew Day, and I was upstairs binding a quilt, and she had to cut out these little tiny squares, and she was picking them up individually and flipping them so
Yeah,
that
when
they
she
were all stacked
Face
the
up.
right way. So they were all, the same way. So I have an extra, I have an aught light, you know, over my sewing machine. And sometimes if I've kind of mixed them up, I will try to look under the light so I can see the difference. And there is just a tiny bit difference, and I can feel it. One of them feels a little more flannelly than the other.
Just a little different finish.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and the black one, you can see the shiny more on the black on the black
you
one.
really
You can really
yeah.
tell on that one. But when I work with solids, I'm just kind of like Sandy. If I notice, maybe then I might hurry and turn it over. But I really
That
don't.
one with the gray.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried to turn it.
trying to see which one is which way. But a lot of times when I cut, I know what's the front and the back just because of where
That
the
fold
fold
is.
is.
Yeah.
And then I kind of keep
Yeah.
track of it. And so I do try to, I don't think I'm quite as strict about it as Robin,
Yeah.
but I was just curious
yeah,
what
Robin is
everybody,
I
Kinda
I
thought.
can't see the food on my plate without my reading glasses on, so I'm not going to notice.
you're not going to, yeah. And you're going to care enough to try to flip stuff over and stuff.
When I made that rose quilt a couple of years ago,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
in the pinks.
Yeah.
It was all in the solids, and at first I was trying to make sure I was
Yeah.
looking to make sure, and then towards the end I was like, the heck with that.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. It was just taking me too long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it does take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's up to you. It's whatever you prefer. Is what
When
it
I
boils
was
down
in
to.
school, my teacher taught me to see the salvage,
Yeah.
but that's the only way. But a lot of manufacturing, whatever, they do it differently too.
Right,
It doesn't promise you
Right.
it's like the front side.
Right. So, okay, those are the only other things I kind of wanted to ask because I read all those comments and I don't want everybody to be wondering, you know, what did you decide? So, and somebody recommended an iron for me, so I might check into that. I did buy a little mini iron here. And I like it.
Yeah.
And you know how Robin said it got too hot. I was like, oh, can this get any hotter? So apparently I like a really
I like
hot
mine
iron.
hot, too.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Thank you. Thanks for indulging.
No, thank you. Thank you for looking into that and answering the question. Because I was like, I don't know, I don't care.
Yeah. No, I care. I do. I care about all.
No, I mean, I care about the comments, but I mean, like,
No,
I just
that's
don't
what I
care
mean.
about my,
Well, see,
fabric.
I'm just so paranoid when I make a quilt
Yeah.
for the store. I want it to be perfect. I unpick more when it's, you know,
For
a
the
store
store.
quilt than
Yeah.
when I do at home. Sometimes I don't care quite as much at home. But
yeah.
anyway, good to know. Anybody has any other thoughts? Let us know because we do like your comments and we do read them and
Yeah.
we talk about them.
Yep, we do.
We do.
And we haven't had any nasty comments.
Okay, that doesn't mean we
Snarky.
want any.
No, that's
We're not encouraging.
But
yeah.
we haven't had some.
No. Well, and we've talked about before because, you know, because I answer all the emails. Kathy and I kind of do the online part. And quilting people are nice people.
Yeah,
we
they
don't
are.
we don't often get rude.
Yeah.
You know, most people are just understanding and kind.
so
and-
sweet.
Yeah. So
Yep.
this is
It's
why
a
I
great
just have
industry
stuck.
to work in.
Exactly. That's why I've stuck in the job here
Yeah.
because people are just nice.
We know it's not for the paycheck.
Yeah. Well, it's because we're investors and we have to see what comes in.
That's right. All right. So did you have some questions for us?
I do. So we sent out a question to ask everybody what they want us to talk about on Table Talk. And then there is a comment saying that they want us to talk about bias cutting. So we're talking about that today.
Okay.
I'm not a quilter, so I'm just going to ask very general question. You can go into any deeper part that you think it might be good to know.
I can't kind
You're ready. You're prepared. Yeah. No, I'm impressed.
all in my my little life.
You are
I was
good.
productive yesterday.
You are on it.
Well, we
You
had
should
kind of
babysit
talked
more
about
often.
when I made that nocturnal quilt with the curves.
Yeah.
You know, and
The
that's
circle.
on a bias cut too. And it, you know, when you work with a bias, it stretches, so you have to be, you know, careful. So when you go towards your binding,
Yeah.
that helps.
So, bias binding versus straight binding. So I did a little research last night on that. What do you prefer a bias, whether it's a curved quilt or not? Or
No.
What do you? Yeah.
No, and you know what? I have the easiest way to do the bias binding than anybody. And that is you come into the store and say, Sandy, I need this on the bias. And then she cuts it.
Yeah,
So
you can do
my
that.
way is like
Yours is the best way
fantastic.
to go.
Yeah.
That's kind of a Kathy way.
I know. Well, that's why Kathy and I work upstairs.
Can I chime in a little bit?
Yeah.
So when I was learning to sew costume or dresses, we do bias cutting and bias binding because it stretch out. You don't have to worry that you're running out of your binding and stuff. And also it fits your body better.
Yeah.
That's
It's that
the reason
stretch.
why.
Yeah.
But I don't know about quilting.
Yeah. So quilting, if you have a curve on a project that you're binding, you have to use
Right.
bias binding, because it just
Like this.
So these curves, if you didn't do bias, they wouldn't,
It would pucker.
it would
Yeah,
pucker and it would just,
yeah,
it would
look
just
gross.
look nasty. So you've
Yeah.
got to have a bias cut for a curve. Now, there is the opinion of some people that I was reading last night, because I was like, why would you use bias if it's a straight edge quilt? If it's just a rectangle quilt, why would you use bias?
And
Well,
I do if I want to, if
Yeah.
it's a stripe.
A
So
stripe,
it
yeah.
can be because you want the stripe on a diagonal instead of just, you know. But it can also be if it was recommended if your quilt is going to be heavily used.
Oh, really?
If it's going to be a baby quilt that's going to be laundered and used and, you know.
Oh,
And
man,
all of
I'm going to have
that.
to learn to cut my own bias binding then.
They said that, so when,
Still have her do
yeah.
Shelly's
you're
done it for me before.
on your bias, on your bias along that edge, you know, where it's folded around the quilt,
Yeah.
if it's cut on the bias, you have multiple threads,
Oh.
okay, along that one,
Okay.
this along this edge,
Mm-hmm.
okay, instead of just like a single line thread, perhaps,
Yeah.
that can
okay.
wear.
I
You've
see.
got cross
Mhm.
threads, so you've got, and it doesn't wear as easily
wear out.
as just a straight edge binding.
I
And so
never
they
thought
said
of
that
that.
was something that they recommend if it's going to be a heavily used quilt to do it bias. But for me, the only time I've ever done bias is like, say, if you wanted to diagonal stripe a certain way or something.
Right.
But otherwise, I just do a straight.
Yeah, if it's not curved, that's me too.
And this has, and I tried to find my tips last night, but I couldn't remember. And VJ, we'll have to have her help us with that because I cannot remember the tip for these, because these has sharp inside points, and I can't remember the tips for how
How it was
to
done.
bind that. Because the last one I did had a curve VJ bound for me.
So people do stuff. Essentially, what it comes down to is you have to come work at the store.
Yeah, and you have to,
And then it's
say,
taken care of for you.
VJ, I'm
VJ,
really
please
struggling
help.
with this. But yeah, bias binding is stretchy, so it'll stretch around that curve where your straight edge binding won't. So my little sister, when Facebook does, or Marco Polo does, she had, excuse me, I gotta get a drink. She's like, do you know how many inches of bias binding I can get from one fat quarter? And she's like, you can get over 5 yards from one fat quarter.
Oh, wow.
And so she's like, here's how you do it. So I found the tutorial, and I'll put this up on our website, and I'll also have them in the store. How to make continuous bias binding. You might want to have that. Continuous
No,
bias
as long
binding.
as you two know, I'm good.
I don't know. I better
So
do some research.
from one fat quarter, I got
Oh, wow.
all this.
And you use this?
This is two.
And how I
so
2
this is a
inches?
2-inch binding
Okay.
from one fat quarter.
Wow.
So I did a 2.5 to see how much I got from
Oh,
one
wow.
fat quarter.
Oh, wow.
Now you could get that same amount if you cut and sewed all your pieces
For a
Excuse me, I'm
straight.
tickled. But it would be such a bigger pain.
Well, in a fat quarter, I wouldn't
And-
want to do that.
You don't want to do all those seams, you know.
Yeah.
But this you do. So 2 seams is all.
Oh,
And then when you cut it,
big pieces.
anyway. So I'll post this
That's nice.
on our website,
Okay.
and we'll have it in the store if anyone wants to come in. We'll have some copied you can pick up, and it takes you all through it. So
Nice.
it was kind of cool. I was like, I have enough binding to bind that from one fat quarter.
And that's not a lot of fabric. Then, so
No.
not a lot of waste.
No waste.
Oh.
No waste.
All right. Well,
And you're not
made a lot
doing
of
doing
copies.
those diagonal seams to join your 2
Right.
pieces together. No.
And
2
see, and
seams.
I'm a ironer. I know Shelly isn't always with binding.
For binding, mm-mm.
Yeah,
But
I-
I've never ironed my
I
binding.
always
Yeah.
iron the seam open, and then I always fold it and iron.
Well, I'll
the
press
back.
my seams, but when I
don't
fold
even
it,
know.
I just fold it and start sewing. I don't
Yeah,
even
I always-
press it.
I've
always
done
press
that,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
I prefer it
Smooth.
pressed for
I'm
me.
kind of that's then that's just kind of my personality. I like just a little crispness.
I guess for some quilts for me, I just want to hurry and get this done. So I don't want to take the time to hurry and do all that.
I really think we are all, you finish the top, let's move on. Let's get it done and move on.
That's it. Finish it, get it done.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm that way too.
Yeah. So this is going to the quilter today. She'll be in the store. Those of you who don't know, we have a quilter that comes in. Judy comes in on Thursday mornings from 10:30 to 11:30. She's here with her books, so you can pick out your quilt design. And then she takes your quilt, and the next week she's back. Depending on the time of year. Right now it's like a week turnaround.
Just
As you get to
time.
Christmas time,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like 2 weeks, or
I think it kind of starts in the fall.
Yeah.
Because we are
Yeah.
really, really busy here in the fall because
Yeah.
of the witches in the village, and Halloween is huge here in the store. So she's busy kind of.
So she gets pretty busy. But so Kathy and I will be sending our quilts off today, and then they'll be back next week, all nice quilted,
ready to go.
ready to be bound. So
Okay, well, I might need to read that, but I still,
well, we'll do a little demo that we'll put on our YouTube.
Well, I'm just looking, so I'm more of a visual person, so I'm just looking at that, and I was like, oh, that's so easy.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I can do that.
But when this work, anyway, yeah, it is super easy. It just doesn't make sense when you first start, but then now.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is
Is that the video? That you
this is off of Motivate Shop.
Oh.
It wasn't a video, but Carrie showed us, and I don't know where she found it, but I found this online, of Motivate Shop, and so I could read and look at the pictures. And I was like,
Right.
I don't know. How's
I
that
do
working?
learn a lot from you sisters. So handy that you have so many sisters.
I know, it's fun. And they're like, we're done with our Stash Busters. I'm like, you can't win.
You don't get to be in the drawing.
You're like an employee.
Do you know, that would be like
Yeah, like
anarchy if we had started giving away
or like
gift
one of
cards
us,
to my sisters.
one of the employees winning or something.
Yeah.
No.
But we'll show their quilts, but I promise my sister's quilts, and I haven't told them that yet, but they can't win.
No. Do they watch tabletop?
I don't know. I bet Carrie does. I bet Carrie watches tabletop.
Yeah, I always do every time.
I watch it, but I guess that means we're vain. We watch ourselves.
I just like to know how stupid I look.
I know, me too. Sometimes I'm like,
And that's all I concentrate when I look. I'm like, oh,
I know.
really?
The very first one I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I flipped my hair so much. And so Jason, he has any hair, he was always like doing this for a week. I'm like, stop it, just stop it. So yeah.
Yeah. I just, Oh, and so that my favorite table talk of all time was last week.
When you were not
weren't
here.
Because I wasn't here.
See, if I had been here without you, I would have put the whole store on sale. Today only.
No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't want the crowd.
Well, I work
You're
upstairs.
working. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
upstairs.
she's upstairs. She wouldn't have to deal with the crowd.
Nobody
She
would.
would just
Yeah.
watch from above.
She could watch
Yeah.
from above.
Yeah.
Second question.
Oh,
I
there's
know.
no-
Sorry,
sorry,
you're
Gabrielle.
done. Sorry.
I know we
but
talked too
like
much
this
because she cut some of it out.
Because like this is kind of for, I don't know, for like you say beginners. I thought it was important to mention about like what else do you use bias cutting for except binding?
In quilting,
Don't
I mean, you're,
except
sometimes when you
nocturnal,
trim or
right?
when you cut triangles or something, then you've got
Or like
bias.
Shelley's curves.
Yeah, you've got bias.
My curves.
But bias is what you kind of avoid if you
Right.
can,
Yeah.
because of that stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that. There's an Amy Smart pattern that's a lattice. And so you sew on the diagonal, and they just tell you to be really careful
Not to
that you're not stretching and pulling. Because then you take that to your quilter, and they are not a happy camper
Yeah.
if your quilt is all bubbly.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
Starchy
get bias
doing
cut.
good
I mean, you're always working with half square triangles. You're always
Yeah.
working with flying geese. You're, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so you always have those. I mean,
Bias
many
edge, but-
yeah.
but the key on that is just you just don't want to stretch.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't.
And I know several people they'll starch.
And
so that
starching
helps
makes a big
prevent that
difference.
stretch.
Yeah, it'll help that. So it won't.
Yeah.
How do you start finding the angles? Because sometimes they're not like perfectly folded 45 degrees on your fat quarter, right?
Well, your fat quarters, your salvage is where your salvage is always going to be a straight edge.
Mhm.
So I square up from there, using my salvage to square up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And if there's a pattern,
And if you
sometimes
don't-
I might tweak it a little bit,
Yeah.
depending on what
Yeah.
I think. When you look at it with your eye,
Mhm.
is it crooked or not? And
Mhm.
sometimes they are a little crooked when they get printed on fabric.
They're very crooked. And on
Well,
this one,
I'll
I
just-
did
yeah,
not.
just look.
I didn't do anything. I just cut as it
Cut
was.
it.
Now, on a plaid or a check
Mhm.
with the selvage edge, if you cut at the selvage, that is going to be straight. You're going to be right. But if you're cutting, so here's my selvage here.
Mhm.
Okay. So if I wanted my stripes or my check to be just right square on the lines, then I would want to cut my strips with the selvage,
Mhm.
because that weave is going to be right on, and that print is going to be right on. But if I cut my strips this direction, then they're going to be like this check here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
And most patterns tell you to cut it that
this
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
Right.
But on plaids and stuff, if I'm like, this is the way to
Right.
deal with that.
Use that.
Yeah. So. But,
Yep.
But I just wanted that. I didn't worry about it. But
That's
that would
okay.
drive some people absolutely out of their mind.
Yep.
Out of their mind.
Uh-huh.
And that's great. And that's great. Yeah. It's just not.
It's what you like and what,
Yeah.
it's totally up to you.
So. And I like Minky Kim's collections because they're kind of eclectic looking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're not all.
But see, this
This
part that
one.
kind of looks like a stripe, this
Mhm,
looks like it's more even
It's
than
because
with
of the
this
where I cut that one
on the selvage.
with the selvage. I did. Because I wanted the stripes to go this way
Oh, right.
instead of,
Right.
so
Right.
that's just the way I did cut that.
All these helpful tips today. And you had mentioned that you did put them on rows, so you could, and I thought,
Yeah.
I've never done that. So
Yeah.
when I did these,
Mhm.
I did put them on rows because things were getting messed up, and then I knew exactly what rows I had next to each other, so I knew that I liked the order.
And I just, yesterday started working on, for this one, got into my last sheet of the red,
Oh,
and I've been using these for quite a while. So, I mean, there's a lot in that
there is a
pack.
ton.
Because then you've got blue and yellow, and,
Mhm.
so I was surprised how many we
Yeah.
have. So,
Yeah.
Any
That's
other
all my
questions?
question.
Shannon?
No.
Okay. Thanks for joining us for Table Talk, and we will see you next week.